powering San Diego's future. We are transforming the utility industry with innovations like state-of-the-art battery storage, expanded EV charging, and cutting-edge microgrids. We are trailblazing new pathways like green hydrogen and other technologies to harvest excess solar energy. These innovations help reduce greenhouse gases. We are more than an energy company. We are a people company. We are SDG&E.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the South Orange County Economic Coalition's November virtual general membership meeting. My name is Dwayne Cave and I serve as a director on the South Orange County Economic Coalition. I'm also the external relations manager for San Diego Gas and Electric. Today's program is Power Up South Orange County. Today we'll talk to leaders in the energy field from San Diego Gas and Electric and Southern California Edison. We'll also chat with Juan Gonzalez with SoCal Gas, who will tell us what's new in the energy field, and with Dave Simpson of Cox Communications, who will talk about internet access and wireless resiliency. I'd like to begin the program by thanking the sponsors of today's program, including our title sponsor, San Diego Gas and Electric. SDG&E's commitment to sustainability is built into everything we do, from reducing our carbon footprint and fostering energy innovation to conserving resources and encouraging our employees and the communities we serve to take daily action to ensure a sustainable energy future for generations to come. Learn more at sdge.com. We'd also like to thank our program sponsor, SoCal Gas. SoCal Gas is the nation's largest natural gas distribution utility, delivering clean, safe, and reliable energy to 21.8 million consumers in more than 500 communities in the Southland. We'd also like to thank our supporting sponsor, Southern California Edison. For more than 130 years, Southern California Edison has delivered electricity to power our homes, businesses, and communities while keeping electricity safe, reliable, affordable, and clean today and for the future. We'll kick off our program this afternoon with Brian D'Agostino, the Director of Fire Science and Climate Adoption with San Diego Gas and Electric, and Michael Nguyen, Senior Manager of Local Public Affairs with Southern California Edison. Thank you both for joining us today. Brian, let's start with you. Certainly wildfires are a major concern with all power companies, particularly in California, where we're suffering through one of the driest and hottest seasons on record. Tell me about your role with SDG&E and what's being done to mitigate the risk.
Yeah, absolutely, Dwayne, and thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, and good day to everybody. As Dwayne mentioned, I am the Director of Fire Science and Climate Adaptation for SDG&E, but I'm also a trained meteorologist, and I've been really watching the fire behavior year in and year out now for over a decade across Southern Orange County. And we have noted, just as Dwayne mentioned, an increase in hotter, drier conditions that are leading to more wildfire activity really across our region, across the state, really across the entire Western United States. So we are taking a multi-pronged approach at SDG&E to deal with this. First is situational awareness, right? We've built what was the largest utility weather network anywhere in the country, covering Southern Orange County all the way to the mountains of San Diego. And that is a technology that is spreading across the state. And we're finding other utilities now implementing that situational awareness as well. In addition to all those weather stations, we have mountaintop cameras, which are continuously scanning for wildfire activity across the region. And then we share all of that information with first responders, and we use it within the utility to try to make good decisions on system hardening and how we respond to wildfire. Additionally, the second prong and thing we're very focused on is system hardening and finding those highest risk areas most prone to wildfire and being strategic, thoughtful, and science informed with how we harden the electric system. In some cases, that's undergrounding lines. In some cases, that's putting covered conductor on the system. In some places, it's transitioning wood poles to steel poles, but that is an ongoing effort to harden the infrastructure across Southern Orange County and San Diego County. And then the third prong is really the outreach and education and how we work with the community. It's so fundamental, developing these partnerships with the community and really working together on mitigating wildfire across the region. So, Dwayne, I really appreciate the question. And we do have a wildfire mitigation plan, which really breaks it all down and gives all the details, but that was my high level overview.
Well, thanks, Brian. It sounds like there's a lot going on down at SDG&E as far as wildfires.
Yes,
anyway, Michael Wynn is with us with Southern California Edison. Michael, what is Edison doing to protect communities and mitigate the risk of wildfires?
Yeah, thank you, Dwayne, and thank you for letting us be part of this session and sharing information about this important topic of wildfires along with Brian here at the SDG&E. And so what Brian mentioned, it's very similar to what we're also doing at Edison as well. You know, we have a wildfire mitigation plan that we've been implementing over the past several years here that also includes what Brian mentioned in terms of grid hardening, right? Installing cover conductor insulated wires and improving our situational awareness through additional weather stations and wildfire cameras. We have about 60 weather stations in Orange County. In addition, we're installing wildfire cameras, which we have about 14 in Orange County. And we're also enhancing our operational practices through vegetation management and equipment inspections in order to keep our community safe. Now, the high-tech wildfire cameras that I mentioned are also part of the Alert Wildfire Network. They provide real-time images for Edison, SDG&E, fire agencies to use to monitor wildfire activity and to protect our customers, communities, and equipment from the ongoing threat of wildfires. And so I just want to mention that we really appreciate the collaboration between the utilities, the fire agencies, the state, and UC San Diego on this important. The value of private-public partnerships in our preparedness and response to wildfires cannot be understated.
Very good. Thanks, Michael. And Edison has a very big service territory that you have to deal with too, don't you?
Yeah, we certainly do. And, you know, approximately 25% of our service area is covered in high fire risk areas. So yeah, a lot of work to do in terms of our wildfire mitigation.
Well, very good. Well, let's keep this question going to you, Michael. Many of us have heard of the public safety power shutoffs or PSPS. So what does that mean and why are we doing it? And will South Orange County be impacted by PSPS?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So when there is a high risk for wildfire, we may declare a public safety power shutoff or PSPS for short. And it's where we temporarily shut off power in a high fire risk area to prevent our electric system from becoming the source of ignition. And so for South Orange County specifically, there are several communities that may be subject to PSPS that are within our service area, right? So that includes Aliso Viejo, Coto de Caza, Lake Forest, Mission Viejo, Rancho Santa Margarita, and the unincorporated canyon areas. So I just want to stress that we do not take the impact of PSPS lightly. We only use it as a measure of last resort to protect the lives and property of the people we serve when weather and fire danger conditions really demand it. So, and we know that PSPS can really be disruptive to our customers, and we have been working to really reduce the US PSPS, especially in those communities that have been frequently impacted by PSPS events.
Okay, well, thank you, Michael. At this time, let's take a question from the audience.
My name is Marion Butterfield. I've lived in Mission Viejo since 1972. Like many South Orange County residents, I'm concerned about the long-term availability and reliability of electric power. What technology or other improvements are you implementing in the South Orange County region to make the power delivery system more reliable during extreme weather events?
So that's a great question, Marion. Let's turn that over to Brian for the first response.
Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to respond to this because we have been doing so much work in advancing our data science capabilities. And specifically in Southern Orange County, a couple examples I'd like to raise is how we are now leveraging those mountaintop cameras, and we're putting smoke detection algorithms. So what these will do is the instant any smoke is seen from the cameras, it automatically alerts that there could be a risk in the community. And then that sends out alerts to the proper responders and could help minimize any response times across the region. Additionally, we're also using AI technology now, which has been implemented across Southern Orange County. It uses all the data from the weather stations I mentioned and provides a state-of-the-art forecasting system to help us anticipate and prepare for any potential of public safety power shutoff, and give our community partners and residents and communities the biggest lead time as possible if we do anticipate extreme fire weather conditions materializing. So those are the two latest updates for me, and I'll hand it back to you, Dwayne.
Hey, thanks, Brian. It's amazing what kind of technology we have that we can really stay on top of the weather situation out in our region. So Michael, with SoCal Edison, do you have anything else that you'd like to add to this question?
Yeah, so, Brian mentioned definitely, sort of weather technology. We have a team of meteorologists that definitely do monitoring and we're using quite a bit of technology with our weather stations. We have, I think, 2 supercomputers that we're also using to do a lot of sort of forecasting and analysis. So doing a lot of work there. But the other thing I wanted to add is, we talked a little bit about grid hardening, and that's kind of where our key focus has been in trying to make sure that we're reducing the use of PSPS and making sure our system's more reliable during extreme weather events. So with covered conductor or insulator wires, that will make blowing debris less problematic and allowing for higher thresholds for our wind speeds, which are the key triggers for PSPS. In addition, it increases system reliability and helps keep the lights on year-round during weather and non-weather events alike. So really provides reliability benefits year-round. And so, we're hoping that we'll ensure that we have a stronger, more resilient and more reliable grid. And so this year we've been really focused on replacing, our bare wire with insulator wire on circuits that have been frequently impacted by PSPS. And specifically here in South County, one of the circuits that has been impacted by 4 or more PSPS events in the last 2 years has been the Atento circuit, which serves the unincorporated canyons, Lake Forest, and a portion of Mission Viejo. And so we expedited grid hardening this year on that circuit, included 23 miles of new insulated wire, as well as replacing over 160 poles. And so we're hoping these improvements are really expected to reduce PSPS outage duration time by almost half, assuming the same weather conditions in 2020.
Okay, well, thanks, Michael. It sounds like both utilities are doing a good job on trying to determine which areas to prioritize as we start hardening our system. So that sounds good for all of us here. So Michael, another question for you. How can South Orange County residents stay alert and prepare for a PSPS outage?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And, we definitely are trying to make sure that we're informing all our customers and communities about what they can do to prepare, not just for PSPS, but for emergencies in general. And so one of the things specific for PSPS and outages, we want to encourage our customers to sign up for PSPS outage alerts. And they could receive alerts via email, text, or voice call. And so they can go to our website as a SE customer and sign up for those. But we also recently launched what are called PSPS address level alerts. Now, these alerts are more helpful for residential and commercial tenants who do not maintain their own service accounts, for caregivers, for frequent travelers, and for service providers. And you can sign up for these alerts at se.com/PSPS alerts. We also offer a number of programs and rebates to help customers prepare for emergencies. For example, if you depend on electrically powered medical equipment, you may be eligible for our medical baseline program. Also, customers that enrolled in medical baseline, enrolled in either our care or fair programs, and live in a high fire risk area may also be eligible to receive a free portable battery backup to power their medical devices through our critical care battery backup program. And then we also offer a number of rebates for portable power stations and portable generators, as well as support to customers during PSPS events through our community resource centers and community crew vehicles. And then we, along with PG&E and SDG&E, have partnered to expand the 211 California network, which connects customers to health and safety programs during PSPS.
Very good. Well, thanks a lot, Michael. Brian, you specialize in fire science, and I have to tell you, I've been in the utility business for over 40 years, and you're the first one I met that specializes in fire science. So how does SDG&E mitigate risk against wildfires?
Well, a big part of mitigating the risk against wildfires is being able to see them coming, right? And a lot of what that is has been partnerships with academia. It's been partnerships with the National Weather Service, partnerships with the fire agencies, and really working together, right, to better understand the fire environment. So to that end, one of the biggest things that we're doing now is we're really partnering with academic institutions. So one is the San Diego Supercomputing Center to really advance data science and really better manage all of the data that we have in the fire environment, which is now a true big data, a very data rich environment. And we're also backing up all of that at UC Irvine and actually partnering with the university system in Orange County as well to continue to expand that as well. We're working with San Jose State University to expand fire modeling. We've all heard at one point that sometimes fires can impact the weather around them. So we're now exploring the next generation of fire behavior modeling. And then we're also working with Scripps, Institution of Oceanography in San Diego, to really understand the impact that climate change is having on the wildfire environment across San Diego, Orange County, and the entire state of California. So really ensure that we are being proactive and trying to stay ahead of our changing climate.
Well, very good. Hey, Brian, let's stay with you. And why don't you let us know, what are some of the wildfire safety tips our viewers might want to be aware of?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is preparing beforehand is so important. Right. So when we look at, not just having plans for us, but having plans for our animals, right? Having meeting points with our family and understanding, if we are evacuated, what are we going to do? And then really working with the fire agencies. They have a program called Ready, Set, Go. And just being able to really follow that and really go on to their websites, the Ready, Set, Go program, and look at how prepared are you for wildfire, because we know it's not a matter of when emergencies or if emergencies will happen, it is when. So we do have to be prepared. And that would be my number one message, is to try to be prepared.
Very good. Hey, Michael, any thoughts that you have on wildfires and safety tips?
Yeah, no, definitely what Brian mentioned in terms of Ready, Set, Go is, definitely a great resource. Of course, making sure that you're prepared for a plan, or have a plan in place, assembly emergency supply kit for your home and car, making sure your pets, right, taking care of your pets, as Brian mentioned. I would also mention that Orange County has a great emergency preparedness resource website at readyoc.org. So definitely would encourage residents to check out that website. The Orange County also has an emergency alert system called Alert OC. So definitely look into signing up for those alerts so you can get important updates during an emergency or disaster. Your city may also have its own emergency notification system. So again, yeah, preparedness is really key, and will help everyone cope better and stay safer during an emergency.
Well, good. Well, thanks a lot, Michael. So at this time, why don't we go to another question that we have from the audience?
Hi, my name is Steve Bemerwald. I live in San Juan Capistrano, and I'm hoping you can tell me if there's any updates on the South Orange County Reliability Project. Thank you very much.
Well, I think I'll take this one. Thanks for the question, Steve. Well, as the name of the project indicates, the South Orange County Reliability Enhancement Project is for electric reliability in South Orange County. Today, the energy that feeds all of South Orange County comes through our transmission substation in San Clemente, the Talega substation. If we lose power there, we lose power to all of our South Orange County customers. So this project was designed to bring redundancy to our system by adding a second transmission substation in San Juan Capistrano. Construction for this project began in 2017. We have completed the distribution substation in San Juan Capistrano, and we're now demolishing the decades-old former old substation. Early next year, we're going to begin construction on the new transmission substation in San Juan Capistrano. All construction is expected to be complete by May of 2023. So Steve, I hope that answers your question. So that leads us into the concept of grid hardening. Michael, can you explain what grid hardening is and what Edison is doing in Orange County in that regard?
Yeah, sure. So I kind of spoke a little bit about the work that we're doing on the Untitled circuit, which involves some of that grid hardening. But again, for grid hardening, we're making improvements to make the grid more resilient in high fire risk areas, improving reliability and reducing wildfire risk. Again, this is through installing insulated wires, fire-resistant poles, fast-acting fuses, and additional devices to better segment our system that will further support reducing public safety power shutoffs. Now, in Orange County, we've completed over 40 circuit miles of insulated wires. And we also have more than 10 circuit miles of insulated wires anticipated for implementation in the first quarter of next year, which will provide additional benefit to Lake Forest, Rancho Santa Margarita, and the unincorporated canyons by mitigating the impact of PSPS. Sectionalization is another way that we minimize impact to our customers. This is where technology allows us to make a surgical approach to PSPS. The data provided from our weather stations provides localized information of where the weather conditions will impact our equipment. So rather than impacting a whole circuit, which can be 2,000 customers, we can temporarily de-energize a neighborhood of just 20.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Michael. So Brian, as the Director of Fire Science and Climate Adoption, what is SDG&E doing as we experience summers that are hotter and drier and winters that we're seeing more rain than snow? How does that impact our electric utilities?
Well, and a big part of what it is updating our operational procedures, right, to ensure that we are operating as safely and reliably during these high fire risk times. So what we've done is, through working with academia, we've built new tools. One of them is called the Fire Potential Index, and it rates the fuel dryness. It rates how dry the vegetation is all across the spectrum, from the trees all the way down to the grass, looks at how dry the air is, how windy it is, and then it rates the fire potential every day. And on days when we are seeing the rain or we are seeing the snow, we can really operate differently than on those warm, dry summer days. And this really minimizes the potential that we're going to see ignitions from the electric system. And then using that in addition to everything we've heard about with system hardening, right? Ensuring that we are hardening the system to be as resilient as possible to these extreme weather conditions. All that combined is some of what we're doing to kind of ensure safe and reliable operation 365 days a year.
Very good. And I get those emails every single day with my updates. It's good to see them. So we're starting to run out of time for this segment. So as we wrap up our opening segment, can I get some final thoughts from each of you? And let's start with Brian.
Well, first and foremost, I would like to acknowledge all of the great collaboration between SDG&E and Southern California Edison. We are all in this together, right? As our climate continues to change and the wildfire environment continues to worsen, the more we work together, share ideas, our data scientists, our meteorologists, even our executives are working together for the good of the community, right? And that's something that we're going to continue to do. And just Michael wanted to acknowledge that it is really, we've been working so closely together at this and learning so much from each other. But then also just encourage everybody to continue to be prepared, right? We live in Orange County, is a beautiful place to live, but as we know, it's fire prone, and our preparedness is really key to the resilience of not only the utility, but our community as a whole. So just wanted to share that message in closing. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you very much, Brian. Michael, your closing thoughts.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with Brian on definitely collaboration and partnerships between our utilities as well as our public safety partners, our stakeholders, communities. It's really crucial in ensuring that we're continuing to be able to prepare and respond to wildfires. I also want to mention we're proud of our partnership with the Orange County Fire Authority. We have a great relationship with OCFA Chief Fennessy and appreciate his statewide advocacy efforts In 2020, we partnered with OCFA to lease a helitanker, which has the ability to drop over 3,000 gallons of water. And given the success of that partnership, we extended that partnership with Orange County and LA County this year as well to create a quick reaction force of aerial firefighting assets that are capable of fighting fires day or night, and includes about 3 helitankers. And so we provide funding of nearly 18 million for this innovative concept, which has the unique capability of reaching 97% of high fire areas within our service territory within 30 minutes. And so we're really happy to be partnering with our first responders to help mitigate the impact of wildfires on our communities. In addition, we talked about the Alert Wildfire program earlier, and also want to acknowledge Senator David Min for securing another $15 million to help support fire research for that program. And this funding really benefits the entire region in terms of our wildfire preparedness. So again, we really appreciate the opportunity to share how we're preparing and partnering with our key stakeholders to mitigate the impacts of wildfire to our communities.
Well, Brian and Michael, thank you very much for joining us today. I think we could keep going on for another hour or two with this subject because you're both experts and have a lot of information, but we're done with our time today, but we appreciate you being here. So at this time, we're going to step aside for a short break, but when we get back, we'll discuss 2 other important utilities, natural gas and cable TV and internet service. We'll have representatives from SoCalGas and Cox Communication, and they'll join us right after this.
Sure, we're your power company. We're also all about keeping you safe from wildfires. We're San Diego Gas and Electric and drones that monitor our vast system. And power lines buried underground. And weather tracking to predict unsafe conditions so you can prepare. And whatever it takes to help keep you safe. We're San Diego Gas and Electric and wildfire safety.
Welcome back to Power Up South Orange County. We just had a great conversation with Brian D'Agostino of San Diego Gas and Electric and Michael Wynn of Southern California Edison on what's being done to provide reliable power to South County and what they're doing to ensure safety during wildfires and high winds. Once again, I'd like to thank our title sponsor, San Diego Gas and Electric. Also a shout out to the program sponsor, SoCalGas, and our supporting sponsor, Southern California Edison. This program would not be possible without the generous support of our contributing organizations. Let's jump into our next segment with Juan Gonzalez of SoCalGas and Dave Simpson of Cox Communication. Thank you both for joining us here today.
Thank you, Dwayne.
So let's start with a question for the 2 of you. This is an issue that crosses across all industries and organizations, whether it's private, public, nonprofit. It's COVID. What kind of impact did COVID have on your organizations and the way your customers responded to the need for your service? And Dave, why don't we start with you? As we know, most people were immediately home and they had an increased need for broadband internet service at a higher level. So Dave, how did that work for you?
Well, absolutely. As expected, the sudden shift to working from home increased broadband utilization, no doubt, for all of us. We saw 2 years of growth in utilization of our network in just a matter of weeks. So the network bent, but it didn't break. It served us well through the pandemic and as we come out of it. Part of the reason is that we've invested $15 billion in our infrastructure across the country over the last 10 years. And we're currently investing another $10 billion over the next 5 to enhance our network and enable future technologies, including many projects here in Orange County, to progress. Obviously, like many businesses, supply chain issues hit Cox as well. The network is very complex. It requires a lot of parts. Those parts aren't getting to us as quickly as they used to, but we're getting through this. And then I'll just sum it up by saying, as we work our way out of the pandemic, we are mindful that a hybrid model of working from home will absolutely continue. And additionally, online everything from education to telehealth, our continued network investment will assure our customers and our businesses in South County will be well served.
Well, thanks, Dave. And I know that we wouldn't be here today talking to all of our members without broadband internet service. So thanks for everything that you guys are doing. So now on, how did SoCalGas respond to the pandemic?
Well, first of all, I want to start off by thanking you, Dwayne, for facilitating this program. And allow me first to thank the South Orange County Economic Coalition for inviting SoCalGas to participate in this event. I want to thank the organization for their ongoing leadership efforts as being the voice of business in South Orange County and for continuing to support the interest of the local community. And to your question, Dwayne, thank you. As you know, the COVID situation impacted everyone as it modified the work model we've been accustomed to. At SoCalGas, safety is our #1 priority from our employees and our customers. And with that in mind, I remember receiving the call from my supervisor on March 12, 2020, indicating that something major was occurring and that we should stay calm and be cautious and wait for instructions. At the beginning, we imagined this would be a couple of weeks at the most. And a few days later, we learned more about the very dangerous COVID-19 disease. The company quickly pivoted, allowing certain members of our organization to work from home, while our field staff continued to work with their routine activities, making house visits, repairing leaks, changing meters. Our customers continue to request services and we continue to support their needs, following safety precautions established by the state, the local jurisdictions, as you know, wearing the mask, the maintaining the 6 feet of distance, and washing their hands. And as you may recall, at the initial stages of COVID, rents and utility payments were stopped. And during those times, we did not shut down any gas service. As difficult as the situation was at the beginning with a lot of unknowns, we also capitalized on some opportunities. With many people working from home, with reduced traffic, our company realized that this was an opportunity for us to work on projects where we could take advantage easily of streets that aren't easily able to reduce lanes or reduce a full street closure, and allowed us to take advantage of maintaining and checking our infrastructure. Lastly, what the COVID situation brought, a time of learning where we gained knowledge that we could continue to provide services and be efficient working from home. As you know, we're now in November and many SoCalGas employees still continue to work from home, and I'm one of them. The subject of returning to the office has been discussed and has been delayed a couple of times due to the variants. The topic is being revisited in early 2022. And once the decision is made to go back into the office, we'll be looking at possibly at a blended work activity where we're in the office 2 to 3 days. The company, continues to establish policies that maintain employee workspace and safe cleaning, obviously for the benefit of our employees. And as COVID brought many challenges for the workplace, it also brought learning opportunities with which we have learned. There are things that can continue to get done. Through every situation we learn and we're able to continue to be effective doing.
So on to move along, I'd imagine that the pandemic had a larger impact on disadvantaged communities. How is SoCalGas dealing with customers who may be struggling to pay their monthly bills?
Dwayne, at SoCalGas, we continue to support our customers. Let me, if I may, bring to you 2 programs that are available for customers who are still having some difficulty getting on their feet. One of the programs is our CARE program, or the California Alternative Rates for Energy, as a way to reduce 20% on their monthly gas bill. There are 2 ways to qualify. One way is if you receive any kind of public assistance, i.e. you receive Medi-Cal, Medicaid, or Social Security. And the other way to qualify is based on household income and the number of people who live at home. Customers can find this application online, and it only takes a few minutes to complete. Once completed and the application is submitted, customers will receive information if they qualify or if additional information is required. The second program is called the Grant Assistance Fund, which is a one-time grant that helps customers pay for their natural gas bill. This is a one-time payment not to exceed the amount of $200 in order to pay their bill. And this program is a joint effort between SoCalGas and United Way of Greater Los Angeles, who works with other nonprofit organizations throughout SoCalGas service territory to administer the program. And if you're able, if you have any questions or want to look into the information, you can visit our SoCalGas.com webpage to get additional information. And since September of 2021, we have re-engaged with our gas payments and are working with customers to continue to have issues paying their bills. We're working with them to place them on some sort of payment plan. And I myself continue to consider myself very lucky as I've been able to maintain my job. But I know that there's people out there still struggling. If that person is you or someone you know, please don't hesitate to contact SoCalGas and be able to share this information, as there are additional resources that are available to help. So that's what we're doing, Dwayne, in order to support some of our customers who are continuing to have issues.
Well, thanks, Juan. So Dave, along those same lines, Cox has a phrase, access versus adoption. Can you explain to our viewers what that means?
Exactly, yes. Much of the conversation about digital inclusion mistakenly focuses on internet access. The truth of the matter is that a vast majority of Californians, more than 96%, have the infrastructure for internet access to their households and where they live. So, but that's not the case. That's not the issue for many in Orange County and throughout the state. Rather, it is adoption. And let me further explain this a bit. Even though the price of broadband overall has gone down over the past year or so, the biggest obstacle facing Californians, Orange County folks that don't have access is cost. Bringing this population online will require the state to address real underlying adoption hurdles. What does this mean? It includes the gaps in the digital literacy, access to devices, affordability of service, and generally public awareness of programs available to assist low-income families and address language barriers.
Well, another phrase that might be familiar to many is the digital divide. Again, folks who are struggling to put food on the table during these inflationary times might see internet as a luxury.
Right, and that's an excellent follow-up question. Since 2012, Cox has connected more than 750,000 people to the internet, most for the first time through what we call a Connect to Compete program. And that program is aimed at low-income families with students K through 12 who qualify. We've also built more than 100 we call them Cox Technology Centers in Boys and Girls Clubs all across the country. Throughout the last 20 months, especially, we have doubled down on this relief for our customers, including increasing the Connect to Compete eligibility. And basically, we fast-track families into those permanent broadband solutions for just $10 a month, and that's a remarkable price to get access to the internet, and it's made a real difference, Dwayne. Also, just this month, we introduced an affordability program that's similar, but it is not just for the families with K through 12. It's for any family that qualifies. Same type of setup in terms of the affordability. And when you think of it, Dwayne, we have a lot of seniors in South Orange County who are on fixed income or low income that could certainly qualify and benefit from this great program. It just launched out. We're just getting the word out, and we're happy to see that happen. So that's what that term refers to, and that's what we're doing about it.
Well, thanks a lot, Dave. And I have to say, as a board member on the Boys and Girls Club in Capistrano Valley, I see where Cox has stepped up and really helping these kids when they come to the after-school program to get their homeworks done. So thanks a lot to Cox for doing that.
Absolutely.
So Juan, let's talk about new and exciting programs at SoCalGas. One important item is greenhouse gas reduction plan. Tell us about that.
No, thank you for the question, Dwayne. Yeah, SoCalGas has made it a mission to become the safest, cleanest, most innovative company in North America. We released a sustainability strategy plan named Aspire 2045 that set the foundation for our bold commitment to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions and become carbon neutral in the delivery and operation of energy by 2045. As studies continue to show, Dwayne, the energy demands will continue to grow. And how does SoCal plan to meet those demands? Well, we're looking to meet those demands by a blend of innovative technologies, new forms of renewable gases, the use of solar, wind fuel cells, and carbon capture. And as you know, renewable gas is organic waste and green waste that can be harnessed and reused to make power, thus become an emission and carbon negative. SoCalGas is committed to increasing renewable natural gas in our pipeline by 5% by the year 2022, so just next year, and increase that to 20% of renewable natural gas by 2030. Other technologies that we're looking at to reduce our carbon emission is the use of power to gas technology, which takes excess renewable electricity obtained from solar panels that can be converted into a gas through a process called electrolysis. The challenge with solar and wind is that they're great sources of energy, but what do you do when they aren't available? By converting this particular energy into a gas, we can place it into our pipeline and use it at the time we need the energy the most. Other technology is the use of hydrogen fuel cells. And right now we're super excited about our hydrogen house project taking place in the city of Downey. This is a model home that will demonstrate how future homes can produce renewable electricity with the use of solar panels and fuel cells using hydrogen. The hydrogen produced from renewable electricity and an electrolyzer will also be blended into our natural gas system to fuel home appliances and appliances we now have at home. Once the home is built sometime next year, I would love to set up a tour and invite the members of the coalition to see this model in working. And the last area we're looking also, Dwayne, is carbon capturing, which is the process of capturing, securing, and storing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Instead of continuing to allow that carbon to go into the atmosphere, we can capture it and place it into our pipeline. And as you can see, 2021 is a pivotal year as we set ourselves to help the state reach some of its carbon neutral goals. Right?
Okay, well, Juan, we're going to look forward to that tour in the near future. So make sure you stay in touch with us.
Absolutely.
And so now we know that Governor Newsom has some climate change goals. What is SoCalGas doing to help California reach those benchmarks? And what is SoCalGas's Clean Fuels white paper I've heard about?
Dwayne, thank you again for the question. Yeah, the governors continues to sign legislation that moves California to become carbon neutral by 2045, which is a continuation of legislation adopted by former Governor Brown. The Clean Fuels white paper was a study that examines the ways we get to net zero in California and offers detailed solutions, including the clean fuel infrastructure to support decarbonization. The study indicated that in order for the state to reach its 2045 climate change goals, the natural gas system is an integral part. The Clean Fuels white paper is not a roadmap to lower carbon, it's a roadmap to net zero, which integrates the gas and electrical system together. As you know, Dwayne, SoCal has been in business for over 150 years, and we have an obligation to serve as we look to become carbon neutral by 2045. Our company accounts for 22 million customers throughout our service territory, and we're in the midst of an energy evolution. I'm not here to debate if global warming exists or if it doesn't. I'm here to remind everybody that with the approval of California Global Warming Solution Act, AB 32 in 2006, placed us on a path for California to be carbon neutral. This is the law of the land. The commodity we know as natural gas has changed to be cleaner, chemical compound, and can no longer be a fossil fuel. In the not so distant future, biogas, synthetic gas, biofuels, and synthetic fuels being deployed with technologies I mentioned earlier, the renewable gas obtained from organic waste, power to gas, hydrogen, carbon sequestration. SoCalGas is looking towards net zero, making us the largest North American gas distribution utility to set ambitious net zero goals that will reduce our company's direct emissions and those generated by our customers. This means that not only our trucks we drive, the buildings we own, and the pipeline we operate need to make this transition, but also the fuel delivered to our customers will be net zero by 2045. As we work together to be a cleaner energy future, it is important that energy we continue to deliver remains affordable, reliable, and that we continue to leverage our existing valuable infrastructure for energy reliability and resiliency. And I'm committed to continue to keeping this organization informed on the ongoing decisions as it relates to energy industry. But I'm also here to inform you that we're going to need your help. There's still a lot of work that needs to get done and approved. Decisions need to be made by regulators establishing new clean fuels procurement standards, establishing energy efficiency solutions, and updating modern rate structures, just to name a few. There's still a lot of work that's ahead of us, and we cannot do this without your support. So this is an exciting time to be in the energy industry, and we're going through a lot of changes, and we're looking to continue working with all of you to help support moving California into being cleaner, more decarbonized state. So thank you, Dwayne, for that question.
Well, thanks. Thanks, Juan. Dave, as we talk about state and federal regulations, what about Cox? I understand there are funding opportunities at the state and federal level, but how does this all get rolled out?
Great question. And Dwayne, I don't know too many people who would say investment in infrastructure is a bad thing. Cox and our industry partners are certainly excited about the state and federal programs that are out there. The challenge is how are those funds and programs associated with them are rolled out and ultimately utilized, right? So, for example, the historic funding at the local level that governments may be relying on to build municipal broadband networks is not guaranteed in the future. Some of these funds are one-time monies, and that term scares a lot of public agencies and frankly, the private sector as well. So we need to be careful as an industry in how those funds are utilized. We see the model of a public-private partnership between cities, nonprofits, schools, and us as internet service providers being a proven pathway to success, and it's especially panned out during the pandemic.
Well, good. And Dave, we spoke with San Diego Gas and Electric and SoCal Edison earlier about public safety power shutoffs or PSPS. What is Cox doing to help keep residents keep their internet service on even when the power is off?
Thank you. Yes. Well, two things are pretty certain. We're pretty certain about is that PSPS events are here, and they were more than likely going to increase. So either it's a planned outage or an incident for an incident prevention or an emergent situation, such as a wildfire, which is not uncommon in parts of South Orange County, as we all know. So what has happened is that the California Public Utilities Commission earlier this year set a mandate to address this issue. Now, public or private, most organizations don't like state mandates, and we're no different. But of course, at the end of the day, we will comply, and here's what it's being done. In high-risk fire areas, which is also very common in parts of South Orange County, Cox is installing backup generator power that will extend the current backup from a few hours to a few days. There are many such high-risk areas throughout South Orange County, and your residents and our business members know about them. Certainly, customers will benefit from these programs, and cities will only see a minor impact in the addition of a few utility pedestals that are installed throughout the area. Only in high-risk areas, and Dwayne, what this will do is it assure customers and businesses that we'll have the internet up and running for them for several days at least. Deployment has an aggressive schedule, and we hope to be completed within the next year. That's what we're doing in that area.
Well, good. Well, thanks, Dave. It looks like all of our utilities are doing a lot of work just to keep their services going during these times with wildfires and high winds. So thank you very much. Now, as a wrap up, let me get some final thoughts from each of you. Let's start with Dave.
Well, Dwayne, thanks again for having Cox Communications on your program. We value our membership in South Orange County Economic Coalition and just really appreciate the collaboration we have with all the members. I would just add that as a critical infrastructure provider, for Cox, safety and security is always top of mind. We're completely staffed around the clock, and our all hands deck team of nationwide network professionals can holistically monitor and manage our network 24/7, both physically from our network operation centers and also 100% virtually if needed. That being said, and closer to home, Cox is a big company. We have many processes. We strive to do our very best for our South County residents and businesses. But when things come up, we need to know, and we need to work through those problems. I guarantee you it's never our intent to provide anything less than quality service. So as you drive around town, as you work in your clusters and throughout the cities you live in, work in, let us know where you see issues. We'd love to address them. We have teams of folks to work with our businesses here in South County and really find out where we can make some improvements in service. Sometimes we find them in cities that want to expand in parks and other public facilities. Let us know. We want to work in those spaces and really do a bang up job for you guys. So thank you very much again for having me.
Well, thanks, Dave. Appreciate you being here. Juan, your final thoughts.
Again, also thank you, Dwayne, for facilitating the program, and thank you, Dave, for allowing me to share the space with you. It's always great listening, obviously, with the innovative things that Cox's Communication is doing. A very special thanks also to the South Orange County Economic Coalition for inviting us and putting together this very informative presentation. We appreciate the opportunity to be able to share all the exciting activities taking place as we move to decarbonize our grid and to a cleaner future energy. So thank you, Dwayne, and thank you also South Orange County Economic Coalition for the opportunity.
Well, thanks, Juan, and thank you both very much. I really appreciate your time today. And I'd like to thank our viewers for joining us for our November membership meeting. Thank you again to our sponsors, San Diego Gas and Electric, SoCal Gas, and Southern California Edison for underwriting today's show. If you'd like to learn more about the South Orange County Economic Coalition, please go to our website at economiccoalition.com or join us on Facebook or YouTube. As we enter into the holidays, hospitality is the name of the game. We get visitors from all over the world to come to beautiful South Orange County during the holiday season. How do our hotels and resort accommodate them? Join us for our December membership meeting to learn more. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Dwayne Cave, and we'll see you soon.